What's up, and welcome to Fat Bear Week 2022. It is the finale. I'm taking this very seriously, as you can tell. I've assembled the entire bear members of my council, and also I have my little bear earrings, which I found, and I even put a tie on. I take my job very seriously because Fat Bear Week is a very important and serious matter. So today for the finals we have two very large bears. We have 747 versus 901, and just to give you a quick recap of who these bears are, just in case you needed a little refresher. 747 is a bear who has won in 2020. He's a very dominant bear right now at Katmai and at the Falls, Brooks Falls, and you know, he's gotten pretty close. He's a pretty successful career in the sense that he has very often made it to the finals or semifinals, so he's had a pretty good career so far. Now for 901, she might be a mom. It's not really clear right now. We'll find out in the spring. And also, this is her very first time at Fat Bear Week, and so if she wins, this would be really, really big. Clash of the Titans. It's the one-time, nearly one-ton veteran victor 747 versus no name to big gains 901, the bear out of nowhere. Will you choose 747, the lard-layered leviathan with a powerful presence and the battle scars to prove it? Or back the Bunyanese behemoth, bear 901, with the bring it on bearitude and thick tree trunk thighs? Time for some analysis. We are going to go through some pictures and also some videos that I have gathered. So 747 versus 901. We can see clearly here two pretty good shots, as always, and here we can see that in terms of progress, these pictures were taken literally a day apart, so this is really great, and the final pictures were also taken very, very close. So we have a very good comparison. I noticed that it's not really fantastic comparison. It feels a little unfair when you see bears that, you know, the pictures were taken way earlier or way later. It's kind of hard to gauge exactly, you know, how they're looking, but for these pictures, these are really good because of how close they are in timing, and just looking at them, I think, you know, we can see that 747 already has a bit of a pudge, whereas 901 is a little bit flatter here. And then in terms of the after photo, I mentioned this on one of the first days that we looked at him, but I've noticed that he isn't quite as bulbous. He isn't quite as bulging as he has been in previous years. He's definitely been fatter, and despite the fact that he has this really wide stance, which gives, you know, a bit of an illusion, in my opinion, that he's bigger than he might really be, you know, we can see that it's not quite round. It could be rounder. He's still very rotund. Don't get me wrong here, but I think that he could be a little bit rounder. But anyways, that's just based on, you know, previous, you know, coverage of him and having, you know, seen him compete before. Now, as for 901, she made a ton of progress over the, you know, the summer. You can see here she has quite the hump here. Maybe she's a gamer, very hunched over, I don't know. And when we look here, she still has that kind of signature dip, but it's leveled out a lot because there's just so much fat that has gathered. So, you know, we can see just how big, especially her thighs. I mentioned that before. She has a very round thigh here, and her arms protrude as well. Look how much smaller his arms are, like, proportionally. Like, his face here is, if you look at the size of his nose here versus the size of her nose, she has a much smaller snout than he does, and so proportionally, you know, she looks just a lot bigger. But we can't analyze the photos forever, and so we are going to go take a look at the videos. We're going to start with 747. Here is a video of his backside. This is very reminiscent of his photo where he won the competition. They had a picture of his backside rather than the front, which was an interesting choice by the photographers. You know, he's steady against the rapids, so it's not all fat. He's definitely got a lot of muscle there, and we can see that he's pretty big. He's pretty big. But now I want to take a look at this front shot just so that we can get a front and a back, and this is him resting on a tree trunk and we can see his kind of, you know, his bit of a mound here, and we can see just how round he is when he's laying down. Here we have a video of 901. She's sitting at on the bank of the river, and we can just see, even from far away, we can see her silhouette, and as we get closer we can see just how large she is. She's just so plump, and so we can see her basking in her beautiful, bountiful bare butt, just sitting by the river, chill. I would personally vote for 901. I think that we have gathered enough evidence, and even just from the pictures here, even people who haven't seen the videos, we can clearly see that she's fatter. And so 747 is taking the lead. We still have another 40 minutes, but I don't think that 901 is going to be able to pull ahead. This is really unfortunate. I really thought that 901 was going to have a stronger lead. I'm gonna wait for the final result just so we can see the actual like final numbers, just because you don't know, maybe there will be a random sudden surge in votes. But so far, you know, at this point I waited pretty late just to kind of get a look and see, you know, the final result. I don't want to vote too early in the day and for then the vote to be changed. While I wait for it, I'll just give you my final thoughts so far. I think that the competition this year was pretty good. I don't think it was as good as previous years. I definitely think that the bears have been fatter in the past. But you know, maybe it's just not a good year. Maybe the salmon just wasn't as bountiful. I'm not really sure. But even right now with the two finalists, we've definitely seen some bigger bears. So, you know, I'm not disappointed by any means. It's just an observation that I hope that next year they, you know, fight a little harder, train a little more. It was overall pretty fun. I think that there is a little bit of fan favoritism going on right now, which concerns me, especially as a expert in obesity. But when we compare 856 to 901, I think that 901 is still bigger than 856. So regardless of 747 being there or 856, who I think should be there, I still think that 901 is the rightful winner right now, and I am a little bit disappointed in the public, though I can totally understand it in that 747 is still a very large bear. Like, that should not be downplayed. He's still very, very big. He's just not as rotund as he could be. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the final result, and I'll see you in a second, I guess. The results are in. It is official. 747 is the winner of Fat Bear Week 2022. Despite my beef with him, I still want to give him a congratulations for having, you know, won Fat Bear Week. It's a big deal. And so I think that even though his win is, quite frankly, undeserved, you know, he did put in the effort. He did train really hard. So, you know, congrats anyways. And for 901, I think that you should be extremely proud, even though I think that you should be the winner. You're the winner in my books. But I think you should be really impressed with yourself and really proud, just because it's no easy feat, especially comparing, you know, the competition that you were up against. So I hope that, you know, all the bears have an absolutely wonderful hibernation, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them next year. Just to round this off, pun intended, I want to take a look at my winner podium, because I personally like to have, you know, just an extra little competition, a little bit of a meta competition, and that is I like to look at the absolute fattest bears. Personally, I don't think that 747 was fatter than he was back in 2020. I think that he was fatter at that point. I think that 480 Otis was very large in 2017, and so that takes second place. And obviously the Queen of Corpulence, 435 Holly, takes, still has the crown in 2019. So this is just a personal little podium that I have, and you know, I can't wait to see if there's going to be a bear that will, you know, move, you know, change this current standing. That was Fat Bear Week 2022, and yeah, I guess I'll see you this time next year. Peace.